Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Hour 3. So, last time, more or less, the session was finishing up combat, Bastion being saved by, technically, Chad, and with a burst of, like, cold water, a brush of cold water waking him up, and you guys finishing off combat pretty decidedly, and eventually making your way into town, where Bastion's being foolish, Brand's trying to be undercover, and Leonard's trying to figure things out. Leonard, you're making your way over towards the guard area. Now, it's important to note that this place doesn't have like the town that you were beforehand, which is much smaller than this one, had a far greater formed guard than this one does here. So there is actually a barracks in this town, but the reason why, and you can kind of quickly gather this as you go, the reason why there's a barracks in this town, you can tell by the way that it's been like built up, is that war just ended not that long ago. And so lots of towns like this that were along roads or maybe were decent staging points had barracks put in place to house soldiers as they were relocating from point A to point B to point C. But like this area doesn't necessarily need like an armed guard at all times. This is more or less like the local town militia, the local guard. It's a handful of people, not many. That's generally what you'd find in a town like this. But when you go towards the barracks, you actually do see there are, of course, Nilfgaardian colors, banner hanging there. You actually see what looks to be a Nilfgaardian soldier standing right outside the barracks that's put together, made out of wood, that's put together and smoking a pipe. The soldier's probably in his like late 20s or so, male soldier. He does have his armor on, but you can tell that the way that it was put on, even though it's well-designed armor, it looks like it's a bit lackluster. This isn't somebody who's got the regimented practice of like always being ready for danger at any moment's notice. Like this plate hangs a little loose, and you know, his boots while on there aren't the correct boots. The ones that are better for this ground as opposed to the ones that fit the armor itself, etc., etc.
Okay.
You approach, he looks up, he sees you. You can clearly note that he sees that you're a different person, but nothing about you catches his eye from the distance that you are.
Yeah, I mean, he's Nilfgaardian, he said? Yeah, I'll just walk up to him.
Yep.
And be like, greetings, sir, good day.
He looks at you and he's like, yep, greetings. Day's piss, but, you know.
Are you in charge here?
It's, the most noble of honors, ain't it?
Yeah, it definitely seems that way. Listen, I myself am actually a witcher. Interested in knowing if you have anything that might be, any beasts maybe scourging this town that I could hunt for you in exchange for about 150 coin.
Whoa. You're a witcher? He says, and he kind of like leans in a bit and sees your eyes, because like, you know, you're a bit of a distance back and you get too uncomfortably close. He like leans forward just ever so slightly, like squints, because it is, you know, midday, and sees like the shape of your eyes. He's like, huh, well, guess you've seen it all.
Never seen a witcher before.
I mean, you hear of them, but we don't get money now down in Nilfgaard.
What do you hear of us, I wonder? And I like cross my arms.
Well, a lot. I imagine most of it is, you know, piss. You know, you hear rumors of witchers stealing babies in the night. You hear rumors of witchers breathing fire and, you know, all things. From what I understand, you're just a merc. You take your coin, you kill your things. You're part of a secret group. You know. Don't do me no harm, I don't do you no harm. Now you're looking for work, you say?
I am indeed.
Honestly, I ain't heard much of there being a problem in the area, else we would have taken care of it. There are a bit of drowners around here not very long ago, but we set ablaze the small ponds that they were in with some oil, and
smart.
They pissed off, and ain't seen or heard of them since.
Probably led them right into us. You know, these roads run parallel with multiple rivers. You scare them south, you're just going to kill anyone coming from that way.
Oh, ran him into you say? Did you see him south of here?
Yeah. Seen 4 of them, perhaps 5. Lost count. They're all dead now. Don't worry. But definitely gave a friend of mine a run for his money.
He says, because obviously he can see like your physical features. He goes, well, consider it patronage to the motherland of Nilfgaard.
Listen, not a lot of people come from the south, do they?
No. No. Some come up this way, looking to make a life in the new area, the new lands that belongs to us.
Did Zoom just mess up for a second for anyone else?
Nope.
Okay. Well, it's fine now.
Good. Where was I?
He said there's not going to come up from the south. He goes some,
Oh.
more or less people seeking a different life.
Gotcha. So, how's the Nilfgaard rule around here?
These people around here, there was this banner, there was that banner. They didn't think too much of it. Not exactly hard fighters here.
Right, fantastic.
Blacksmith, he used to work for the Temerian army. He left them.
Did he? How was he?
As a smith or as a person?
Mm-hmm.
He's an ass. But, he could fix a sword good.
What about his boy?
Is a orphan.
A lot of those around here.
Remember how I said we had a drowner problem?
Didn't really fix it, did you? Alright, well, if you got no work for me, I'll be on my way. We're just staying in town for about a week. Just want to let you guards know unless you got any reports of us doing something, and you can come talk to me.
Be more than happy to let somebody else do the trudging through that shit out there.
I actually used to be an investigator in a small town. Or, sorry, not a small town, a very large town, frankly. Especially compared to this. But if you got any crimes, maybe, that I could get some coins checking out, I wouldn't mind it.
Seem a bit desperate for work there, boy. Is,
Need to come up with 150 coins quick.
So say, Monster Hunt not doing you good?
Not a lot of people around here, especially not a lot with money. Monsters are fine. They're doing great, frankly.
Monsters are about, but no one's to pay you to get rid of them.
Exactly.
Looks like I'm doing my job too good then.
No? Okay. Okay.
I think we'll agree to disagree on that bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, tell me, one last thing before I go.
Please.
Have you heard any rumors about a particular school of witchers called the Cats?
I know that some witchers wear, necklaces of different animals.
See any
cats,
others other than I?
Lions, maybe tigers or something. No, I ain't never met no witcher, at least that I noticed before. Time to time, you see someone walk around with 2 swords. Rumor is that means they're a witcher. I just think it's a guy trying to make up for the size of his prick.
Good thing I only got one at the moment, then. Very well. Well met. Have a good one.
And so you turn and kind of walk off. He watches after you for a bit, but honestly isn't very interested beyond a few paces of yours walking away, and then he fades away behind you. We're gonna pan the camera over to a little bit prior. Bastion and Bran had made the way to the bar. I imagine beelined it straight there. And so, as you do so, as you're walking into the bar itself, you see outside the bar there is a woman standing there. She's probably in her 30s, and she's got a few carpets that are draped on a piece of wood, and she's got a broom in her hand, and she's beating the shit out of it, like a couple of kids at a birthday against a piñata, beating the shit out of the thing. As you guys go walking in, as you're walking towards it, she looks up, she sees you there, but then a little bit of dust gets in her mouth. It's like, fuck! And like hawks a loogie and spits it on the ground, and then keeps beating the
My
carpets.
fair lady. Would you like to get a drink to clear out your mouth a bit?
She's like, what you on about?
I'm asking you if you want to get a drink in the pub.
Brand, stop him.
She's like, yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah, Brand just like walks past and goes in. She's like, yeah, I do want a drink. I'd love to have a drink. But I got shit to do. Move on, pretty boy.
Well, I'm offering to pay.
She's like, good. Go buy some drinks. I'd like that coin in my coffers.
Oh, okay. I understand now. I'll be going in.
So you go into the place, looking about. Were you saying something, little nerd?
Oh, I was saying, does he understand actually?
Yeah, probably. So walking in and looking about Brand first, Bastion immediately afterwards, you see that the place is rather small. There's only enough room for about 5 tables, and they're not even that very spaced out from one another. But despite the size, there's actually 9 people inside of here. Currently, midday, there's 9 people inside of here, all grouped up in their own little groups. A group of 5, a group of 3, group of 4, a group of 3, a group of 2, spaced out in the area. And one other person that's over by the bar area. They're clearly like moving barrels and stuff like that are back there, whatever's that's holding their drinks. It's a beefy guy, probably looks to be maybe in his early 50s, that's moving things about. And everybody, as you guys go walking in, Brand walks in. They look over at Brand, immediately go back to what they're doing. A couple of them are playing cards, a couple of them like leaning over their drinks, having a whispered conversation, so on and so forth. And then Brand probably walks in, takes in the sights, maybe takes 2 or 3 steps before Bastion comes walking in. Bastion walks in, everybody looks up, and then keeps looking. And keeps looking.
Hello.
I casually walk up to the bar and I get a pint of ale.
Okay, so you go over to the bar. The bartender, as just like pint or whatever. Bartender's like, yep, and starts pouring one. Right as he's starting to pour that beer for you, Bastion's like, hello, and one of them's like, you're a freak, aren't you?
Well, some people think so. I don't think. I think I'm pretty nice.
I think you're a freak. Huh? He says to the 3 others around him, and they're like, yeah, freak. And the group of 2 over there's 2 like, yeah, he's a freak, all right. I hate them freaks around here. And the group of 3 stays quiet into themselves. They don't really give a shit out of the way. It kind of goes back to their conversation.
Hello?
Hi.
Oh, there he is.
My internet went down for a split second again.
Oh dear.
Oh, rip.
Everyone kind of grouped up in a chant and started shouting, freak, freak,
Okay.
freak,
Yeah.
freak. And then
They
everybody
all kind of agreed, yeah.
Well, I don't want any trouble. I just want a drink.
You don't want any trouble. Get out of here, you freak. And
Okay,
the,
but
the bartender now, watching what's happening, calls over Brand's shoulder. He's like, hey, shut up over there. If he's got coin, I'm taking his coin. What do you...
How about I buy a round for everyone?
Ah, there we go. Buy a round for everybody. Bring that purse over this way.
All right.
He's like, you want to
Brand,
whip his ass, you do so after he gives me his money.
I whisper to Bran, I'm like, I might need a little bit of extra coin. I don't know if I have enough.
I look at him disapprovingly.
I just don't want to die.
So hearing you say you're going to buy a round for everybody, immediately the bartender kind of like steps to the side and ends up pulling out a cask that you can see Bran as he's pulling out the cask. It's completely covered in dust. He's wiping off some of the dust, and it's unopened. It's a smaller barrel and looks like it's probably has a bit more value to it than the stuff that he's been pouring out of beforehand. And he's about to crack this thing open to start pouring drinks from.
Alright, that looks good.
Okay, you don't say anything.
I quickly look at Bastion and look like, do
How
we
much,
really have enough cash to be able to afford a round for everyone here?
how much will this be exactly?
He goes.
I'm very wealthy, but
He goes, so you say that, he goes, my brain's a bit slow. I'll have to tally when I'm done. And he opens up the barrel. And,
okay.
and starts pouring some drinks from it. And,
I see where this is going.
11 drinks poured and handed out to the two of you and the other 9 people in the room, and the 12th one poured for himself because you said you brought a round of drinks to the bar.
Yeah.
Okay, and so he's like, to the freak show, you know, and everybody's like, freak! And so they all drink to it, and he's like, there you go. He's like, there you go. That'll save you. Probably the best 15 coin you've ever spent.
Oh, that's. I just give him my 15 coin. I'm not trying to. Yeah.
15
I just
gold.
hand him 15 gold.
Which is like really expensive for
Yeah.
just a dozen drinks.
Yeah.
But
I don't want to die.
before we continue on, one of the moods that you kind of get from the room as you guys are continuing whatever you're about to do is that as people are getting deeper into the drink, it seems like they care less and less because fucking
Yeah.
drink. They care less and less about the fact that a witcher had walked into the room.
Also, I'm kind of like, as I'm drinking, I'm starting to care less that I spent this much anyway as well. Like I'm having a good time. I got my arm around one of them. I'm like, yeah.
Oh, it's probably to the group of 3 that weren't involved in the chanting.
Yeah, no, one of the good ones.
So I imagine Bastion is doing a bit of carousing and trying to like make some fun here, maybe some arm wrestling, maybe playing some cards, stuff like that. You know, like having a bit of fun. Bran is a little bit more low key, I imagine. What's Bran doing?
I've pretty much just been hanging at the bar when he came in, and like I got my ale, and he just started like, "Hey, let's have a round for everyone." I just stood there hanging at the bar, just observing, trying to stay out of it.
Okay.
So now that the bartender's earned himself a load of money, and everybody seems to be getting into a pretty good mood, I'm gonna casually lean over to the bartender and be like, "So what's the talk in town been lately, aside from a freak show over there showing up?"
He's like, we had a bit of a drowner issue not long ago, but they ended up, you know, taking a bunch of oil. You know, governments do things. They just come around and grab the oil you have sitting around your house, and they took it over and just set that lake ablaze. Fixed the problem, I gotta say, but you know, now nobody's got much oil and the nights are getting pretty dark, so that's no good.
Yeah, that exactly ain't ideal.
No. Other than that, there's, you know, rumors of shit going on not far from here. I guess the woods are getting a bit dangerous if you're heading, you know, north into the east of here. Honestly, don't know much about them beasties that live out there. I stay here. I go upstairs. I sleep. I come down. I pour drinks, and you know, from time to time, make my way through town. But it's not my problem what's going on outside the place, right?
Sensible man. And I just side-eye Bastion, who's just spending it like he's got a million.
As you side-eye Bastion, he does say, there was someone that came through here, not but a day and a half before. He left. He came in nighttime, left shortly afterwards. Funny enough, he came in and he was asking about folk like him.
Folk like him? What do you mean?
You know, freak shows. You know, the knife ears and the fat little ones.
So who was this guy? What can you tell me about him?
He had a look that said he was an asshole. And he didn't drink nothing. Had water. Got some bread. Wasn't much for spending coin. Asked too many questions for someone that ain't spending coin. And mostly was asking about them freak shows. Told him ain't none that live in town. Mostly true. And he was gone a couple hours later. I think he hit the south road. Yeah. I think he went down the south road, but you know, those roads branch off so many ways.
Interesting. So, what do you reckon? Like, is he a witch hunter looking out for freak shows, or like vigilante?
Honestly, I didn't ask many questions. Tried asking his name. He gave me a long, hard stare. I mean, felt like an hour passed before he said it. It was the last one I asked him. I didn't see a weapon on him, but I had a feeling he had a few.
No, don't know. Right, thanks.
You know, because he seems not bad. Says, looking over at Bastion.
Yeah, it could be worse, I suppose.
And you kind of like go to your drinking and whatever it is that you're doing.
I try to eavesdrop a bit on like what the groups are talking about.
Sure. One of the things that so roll me a perception if you're trying to eavesdrop a little. Ooh, another good one. Rick consistently rolling well in this game. So,
yeah, I like this campaign.
Bastion's asking about the women here and talking about his escapades, and the guys are fucking lapping it up. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this is amazing. Listen to these stories. So, bro.
Should have heard about the what I slept with the mayor's daughter, his other daughter, and his wife. Can you believe this?
And one of the guys like, you hear that? He did it all at once. The other guys, he did it all at once, and they kind of like get their own details in the story. And it just kind of like rolls from there. And so the group of two that occasionally will like clearly they're occasionally listening in on them because they'll chuckle to some of the stuff that's being said by that group there, but they're mostly just kind of like talking about their own dealings. You can clearly tell they're not from here. You couldn't tell from walking in, but from listening in on them, because they're talking about deals that they have, like dealings that they have in like other towns nearby. So they're just passing through, probably spending a night or two here before they get back to the road. That group of four, they're mostly going back to the conversations they were having beforehand. As they were drinking that delicious drink, they got quieter, as I described beforehand. As they have a few more, they get quieter and rowdier at the same time. Like they kind of get rowdy amongst themselves. But then they'll go through points in time where one or two of them will be like glaring at, kind of like drunk Bastion. So Bastion's not really aware of it as they glare at him, like quietly, just like. But you don't think that they're going to act upon it or anything like that. Their conversations are mostly about the dealings going on in town. Like, oh, did you hear about Chrissy? Yeah, I hear she's been, and then just kind of like going about their own little rumor shit that doesn't matter.
Okay. Who would seem like the best? Like, I probably would approach like the two people sitting and like minding their own business, talking about trade deals. And I'm gonna try and ask a bit more if they know anything about the mysterious guy that happened to pass through, and ask so many questions.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you go walking up to them and you ask, so you go walk up and do you sit down or ask to sit down first, or?
Yeah, I'll ask if I can sit.
One looks up like, yeah, and you make yours sit down, and as you're sitting, the other one says, "Hey, you know that one," and points over at the Bastion.
I've seen him around a couple of times. Can't claim to know him very well. You don't want to hang around freak shows for too long.
He's like, "Oh, all right, never mind then." And then
Fucking prick.
the first one's like, "What can I help you with?"
Well, you see, I was talking to the barkeep, and he mentioned like this weird guy that, you could tell he was an asshole just by his scowl. And he was asking a lot of questions. I was just kind of hoping if you guys happen to know what's going on with him, what's his kind of deal.
He's thinking to himself. He's like, it doesn't ring a bell. How long ago was he here?
Recently, like a night or two ago.
He's like, no, we weren't here at that time. We just arrived last night, and there was nobody like that here last night. Sorry, friend.
At this point, I think Bastion. So what I'm gonna do is, I've gotten up and I walked over to Brandon and I like clapped him on the back and I'm like, "How's the investigation going?" Like I'm drunk, like I'm wasted, so I'm slurring as I say this. I just clapped him right on the back. I was like, "How's it going?"
Bastion, come and sit. The gentleman here was asking after you, and I point at the guy who showed interest in Bastion earlier.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to say thanks for the drink.
Yeah, no problem.
It was delicious.
I'm glad to hear it. I quite enjoyed it myself.
Temerian mead is never a bad thing.
I agree wholeheartedly. One of my favorites.
And so you go sit down, and as you kind of sit down and whatnot. And he's like, actually, come to think of it, you said they look like a stern man, right?
Yeah.
We shared a fire with somebody of that description not long ago. We were traveling south and along the road, and we were set up camp for the night. And as happens from time to time, when you see a fire lit, you might go and approach it and be like, "Oh, hey, is there a spot for me to stay? Or safety in numbers and all that, So we had set up camp, and we had just about finished cooking our food for that night when the man walked up and asked to sit. He seemed all right, so we let him, and he had he looked kind of like how you were describing. He was gone before we head out in the morning. He had already hit the road before we even woke. But yeah, we had seen him that night. Why?
I'm just curious. You don't hear about folk here a lot who ask a lot of questions in that sort of way. You can just sometimes tell that a certain person is going to be trouble.
Oh, he seemed the all right sort. He had, he was prepared. You couldn't see it underneath the clothes he was wearing. Like his clothes were kind of loose, so you couldn't see it. But when he moved a bit and when he walked, especially as he walked up to our camp, gave us a bit of a fright at first because you can hear the clanking of metal and chain. Like you knew he was wearing a bit of armor under there. And then boots. Yeah, no, it was definitely some sort of militant gear.
Did he have any interesting markings on him, or like a specific accent, things like that?
Accent. I'd say maybe he was. No, he was Rodanian. He was definitely Rodanian. Oh yeah. I guess that was Rodanian, wasn't it? Yeah, I think he was. I think he was Rodanian. As for marks, I mean, nothing stood out as being unique, but he did look a bit fucked up. Like things all healed over, but he'd seen his fair share. Honestly, I took him for a soldier. War's over and maybe making his way back to his family.
It's definitely possible.
Why would he be making his way back to his family? Rodania is north of here. It makes no sense to travel south if you'd be traveling from Rodania if you're heading south. That makes no sense. And he's like, oh, yeah, I guess that's right. Yeah.
We all have those paths to walk at times in our life.
So yeah, they kind of both think on that for a second. Don't say anything at the moment.
I'm thinking.
Right, well, I hope you gentlemen enjoyed a mead.
We did. Yep, pretty good.
Good. I think I'll have a look around the town.
Sure. And so
good luck with your business.
Thank you. You too, friend. And you can get up and leave. Do the two of you do?
Before I go, I'm gonna be like, you know where I can get a bit of coin? I spent quite a bit on that mead.
The two of them are like, we don't know anything about that, friend. We are we're traveling for another merchant, and we're doing dealings for them. Sorry.
Well, I wish you the best. I'll be leaving as well, though.
Yeah, good luck. Thanks. And so you guys kind of head out of there or whatever. I imagine even as you're starting to head out of the bar, even ever so slightly, what's his name is starting to make his way up. What the hell's
Me?
your name?
Yeah, what's his name?
Hate that guy.
Nod.
Lenard starting to make his way up.
So I'll see him walking out, and I'll walk up, and I'll be like, "I said meet in the pub at sunset. What? Why are you guys leaving?
Oh,
you guys
missed out.
gonna leave me?"
I just bought the most expensive mead. It was the best. Everybody loved it.
Is it still
Trust
there?
me, it's for his own good.
Well, blacksmith was good, but the guard was a bust. It doesn't seem like there's any jobs for us here. Although I do have a little interesting tidbit. Apparently, there was a lake that was full of drowners. They burned oil on it and scared the drowners out. And then a car zoomed by. They scared the drowners out. But they didn't say anything about actually going in it. Now, call me crazy, but I need to get 150 coin quick. So unless one of you guys wants to ante up, let's go to the lake and see what we can't find in it.
I mean, the last time we did that, it didn't go well.
Well, we know there's no drowners in there. They burned the oil on top. They're pretty sure they got rid of them, and I think we ran into probably a few of the ones that they scared off. But if that lake's been there a while, they probably could have pulled a few people in, maybe some people with goods, maybe traveling merchants. It wouldn't hurt to take a look, would it?
We can always have a look.
All right. Do you know where it is?
Would I have gotten a general idea from like talking to the barkeep about how they went through all their oil?
I mean, the barkeep gestures a lot and whatnot, so as he was speaking, he was kind of like pointing in directions. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where you got the sense of if he was pointing in the least bit accurately, you got the idea of, it's probably actually a bit to the west of where things, maybe even slightly to the south, but definitely to the west of where he was standing. Like kind of like, I think he was pointing in this direction over here, so maybe that way, but that's kind of like a loose lead at best, like hoping that the bartender's pointing in the right way when he was talking.
Well, if the drowners ran south, they probably wouldn't have run through the town if they were on the north, so it would make sense for them to be somewhere in the southern half, so let's check it out.
I mean, you guys are the witches here, you're the monster hunters. You do the tracking.
Bastion,
I'm fucking drunk.
you have your amulet.
Well, I do have my amulet though.
Oh yes, that worked great the last time.
How are you feeling right now? You okay?
Oh yeah, I feel fucking great.
So, fun fact about his character: he is drunk, as he said, which means he technically has the poisoned condition.
Yeah.
So he has disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks.
Can I real quick? Can I brew a potion?
It takes about an hour's time, but yeah, you can actually make some white honey.
Well, in an hour's
Might as well throw some water in his face. Is that right?
Do you think he'll be sober in about an hour? How much?
Witches have really good metabolism. If he doesn't drink alcohol, if he has some water or and it has some food or whatever it is. I imagine he drank a lot, for whoever's asking. I imagine he drank a significant amount. That's his concept is, I'm going to waste lots of money on alcohol. So you can make me a constitution save there, Bastion, but once again, just to check that.
Just real quick.
Please.
Have any of you guys eaten today? I know we ate a little bit on the road, but have you ever eaten today? Oh, nice.
I don't know. Do they have like breadsticks at the pub?
I actually imagine he didn't eat anything because there's not like free food there. And just so you know, Dunce, I don't know if your lighting changed or whatever, but it keeps getting brighter and brighter and brighter.
Yeah,
it's
because the sun's coming up.
Gotcha.
The sun has been coming up.
You should change your white balance a little bit. Try to see if you can get that contrast back.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's fine. I'm like I keep trying to adjust for it over here.
Should I do it right now?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah,
I don't want to like fuck up everything.
You're
yeah,
fine.
Yeah, a dial you mess with. So you guys haven't eaten, right? Is there?
Not yet.
Oh, he has. You say he did eat?
No, it's
Not yet.
Maybe Brad
okay.
has, but he hasn't.
Okay. You guys want to maybe hit up like a?
Good.
It's good. All right.
Just want to maybe hit up some food before we travel out. I'm a little peckish.
Doesn't seem like the worst idea.
I could grab a bite.
I'm hoping you do, Ashton. That's the whole point. Okay, so we'll go get some food first.
Okay.
And try to wait out that toxicity.
Don't know if I can afford it.
You guys go spend about an hour. Do you want to brew anything else in this amount of time, Leonard, or no thanks?
Yeah, I'll burn because we're going at night, right? I'll brew a cat.
Sure. So you guys will even say that you probably, because it's nighttime, you probably spend about an hour and a half. He gets some food, drinks some water. With his 19 Constitution save, he sobers up pretty damn quickly. I mean, again, he's a Witcher. It's one of those, is he perfectly sober? No, but he's sober enough. He's just tipsy enough to be annoying, you know. Oh, wait.
Yeah, I'm telling stories.
He doesn't have to be tipsy for that.
I'm just like telling stories right now. I'm like, oh, I used to have this horse. It was named Andy. That's what it was. Just going like.
I thought it was a new thing.
So you grab your food, you make your other potion, and you guys can start making your way over towards the water. In the meanwhile, you don't even have to roll for it either. Asking a couple people the question that you can easily hear. Oh yeah, the lake with the fire was over that way. It was a great show. We all just watched it and watched the things burn. It was.
Do we know when the burn happened?
It was several days ago.
Okay, so recent. All right, sweet.
Yeah, it was about a week ago, whatever it was.
All right.
But people hear like, oh, it was days, or one person tells you it was a month.
Okay.
Why
not? Yeah.
You make your way in that direction. This is a pretty easy check, but roll me your survival with advantage, one of you.
Bastion, what's your survival? I have a +1.
Oh wait, yeah, I got 2, so I'll do it, I guess.
You do.
Yeah, go for it. I've only got a 1.
We're gonna trust him. Oh god. Okay, so you guys are making your way over towards the area where the water is, and as you're heading towards, so you make your way over in that direction, you easily find where it is that you need to go, no problems.
Sweet.
And find the water's edge. You make your way down to the water and look about in the area. The lake is actually not tiny. It's a pretty decent size. Like you could easily swim across it if you wanted to, or walk around it. But it's the distance from where you're standing right now to the edge of the other side is probably about 300 feet or so of a football field. So it's not like, again, it's not like it's huge. And then the width of it from the spot you're standing is probably only about 420 feet or so, from the longest point. So again, not huge. The area over here still has the smell of oil and burn and whatnot. You can see that the trees immediately off of the water had a bit of charring that happened overhead, but nothing actually burned on the ground outside of the lake. Everything is stayed damp enough that it's fine. You do see that on the grounds just outside of the lake, a couple of drowners would have kind of crawled their way, but then burned to death just outside of the lake as they were trying to get themselves out.
Good.
But the area is otherwise, you hear the typical noises that you hear in the woods. It's otherwise quiet. Your medallions aren't vibrating, at least not right now.
Okay.
I'm gonna go poke the dead drowners.
Yeah, Bastion, I kind of traded away my silver sword for a couple days.
Well, why'd you do that?
Well, why don't you take my cat potion, and why don't you go in the water?
If you insist. So I drank his cat potion. Is that all right?
Yeah. You can only drink the maximum of one potion, and only witchers can drink witcher potions, but you don't have to only drink your own.
All right.
If your con ever goes up higher, you can drink more.
Drink that potion. And
Now-
I wade into the water. Or I guess I just look into the water at first, because I don't really necessarily need to wade to see the heat signatures.
So 2 things. Before, just because we might have to do a little bit of what's the word I'm looking for? Retcon. So one thing. You were reading earlier, Brand, specifically that book. Can you do after you fought the drowners? Could you do me a favor and roll me a intelligence check, please? Not save, intelligence check.
It was so close to the 20.
It was rolled off that 20, didn't it? So never mind on that one. The other thing is, you do know, Leonard, because this is relatively common knowledge to you guys. Drowners are necrophages.
Mm-hmm.
So
Full-blooded.
they don't have internal body temperatures.
Right.
So the cat potion, for the sake of seeing heat, would not work. Just so you
Right.
know. So
Okay.
were you hoping that he'd be able to see drowners or something else?
Just for the sake of it being dark, so he can find his way up and around.
Okay.
Just kind of work himself.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. I mean, it does enhance your visions and your sights and so on and so forth, but it's specifically, its best feature, its biggest feature is seeing warm-blooded. So, all right, cool.
Right.
So he quaffs the cat potion, a glug, and starts wading into the water, and then eventually takes his shirt off.
Yeah, of course.
So
Bastion, 1 hour. It only lasts 1 hour. If you
Okay.
see or feel anything, good luck.
Thank you. And I toss you my shirt.
I do have to say, Bastion.
Yeah.
Do you want to go swimming with or without your medium armor on?
Ooh.
I'll give you a moment to contemplate that.
Are there any?
No.
Did any trees like fall over or anything on the outside of the lake, or are they all still standing tall?
They're all still standing tall. None of the trees burnt down. It's more like the tops of the trees from the licking
Okay, I
flames
see.
and heat. Yeah.
So I think I would most likely... I'm going to keep my armor on unless anybody else mentions it to me. Because I'm not going to fucking think about that. I'm just going to wait in.
Well, you do have a decent wisdom, don't you? Don't you have like a 13 wisdom? And knowing that armor is going to weigh you down is...
Okay, yeah. I do take off my armor then, yeah.
Keep some of it just in case.
Nah.
Keep like the gloves.
It's just the gloves, yeah. I'd probably... Yeah, I'm just going to leave my armor and potentially my shield behind, because I feel like taking a shield wouldn't be super...
Yeah. What is a wood shield?
really help me out. Huh?
It wouldn't really help you underwater, would it?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Hey, Bastion,
Yeah?
let's do this. Take that shield with you.
Okay.
Is it mostly wood, right? So it floats, right?
Correct. I think I've never thrown it in water before. Should I do that now?
Yeah, let's see if it floats.
I place my shield in the water.
It floats.
Bastion,
It
take
floats.
the shield with you.
Okay.
If anything happens, let go of the shield and let it rise to the surface. If I see the shield on the surface, I'll come in for you.
That's a great...
I'll stay here on the coast so I can fire things.
All right. I wade the rest of the way in. Should I remove my AC? Like lower my AC to...
So what you can do, actually, fun thing, roll 20 lesson, everybody. If you actually open up your character sheet and you go over to your equipment area, where are you? What's your name? Bastion. And you go to your equipment area. There is where it says change shirt. If you click that little, if you go over to like, if you highlight change shirt, a little circle appears. Click that little circle. And then you unequip.
Oh.
There you go.
Oops.
There you go.
So what am I to do?
There you go. And then
Wait, where was that?
that drops
I just
in.
want to see.
Yep. For you, Leonard. Oops. I can show you over here. So if you go over onto what's your armor called? It is
Studded
studded
leather.
leather. If you put your cursor over studded leather, a tiny little circle appears next to 13. There you go.
Oh,
Click on it.
yeah, I see. Okay, I see.
There you go.
I'm gonna keep mine on though.
And
It's leather.
Bastion, it's also important to note that your shield can affect your AC too. So you would unequip your shield as well because you're currently not using it. You're just swimming. Okay.
Right. Okay.
There you go. Awesome. So, anyways, you are. What is it? So you dive into the water. You have your shield on your back. You took your armor off. Obviously, you have your two. You have your two swords with you, still strapped to your back or whatever. And you start swimming through the water. Swim through the water to try to find what might be inside there. As you're swimming through, taking breaths, diving down, coming back up, taking breaths, diving down. Roll for me an investigation check, please, because you're really trying to search through the area as opposed to just perception. You know.
Yeah. Oh, I accidentally rolled with advantage, so just take the first
You
roll.
Eric'd it. No,
Yeah.
You re-roll as a customary thing that we do. Just re-roll
Oh,
without
okay.
it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good because you rolled in that one.
It's actually
Perfect. Not a problem. So,
So
anyways,
happy.
you as you go diving into the water and searching around, you actually do a pretty decent job of searching around and trying to find the some stuff that's down there. First thing you do is you go swimming down, you check around the perimeter area, check around, so on and so forth. You go almost like the center, like where you think it's going to be a bit deeper, and you check there, and you realize there's stuff down there, but nothing of note. Old rusted swords, stuff like that. Nothing really, things that would have eventually kind of like worked their way to the center of the lake as time went. But nothing that really catches your eye. Coins wouldn't really go that direction because, they don't have a lot of weight to them and they're small. So
Right.
making your way closer to the coastline, you start diving down. So you're probably about 90 feet or so from them. You're not quite to the center of the lake yet. That's where you dive down and you actually find there's some coin like actually down at the bottom, and you grab up and you come up with like, I got 5
Yeah.
or 6 5 or 6 crowns with me, cool, and you throw them into a whatever, and you start diving down and doing this for a little bit of time, probably about like 15 minutes or so of diving down and coming up with some coin. To find what you discover with that 15, I'll actually allow you to roll for me 15d4.
15d4.
Mm-hmm.
Are we on the surface? Can we be looking around the edge of the lake to see if we found anything?
You can. I'll allow you to roll with disadvantage.
Okay.
And it's going to be a higher DC, I won't lie to you. Land all around me. I'm like a natty one, like lands on my face. Like, hey.
Brian, are you investigating as well?
Yeah, sure, why not? The drowners are dead anyway.
How much gold should I add to my
40.
40, let's say.
40?
Yeah. So
Accurate.
You guys,
I'm not the investigator.
you guys roll around, or sorry, walk around, checking things and whatnot, but you don't find anything whatsoever, just because it's not. I mean, nothing's going to be at the edge. It's going to be in the water when they drag their opponents and their victims in. So you don't find anything out there. And Bastion starts to swim about and continues to look for what he can find. Another about 15 minutes or so pass of him searching, when finally he actually does see, oh shit, there's a wagon over here. And he kind of like pops his head back up, dives back down, swims down below. It's probably about 30 feet or so underwater when you're at the top of a wagon. And you grab onto the wagon, you start pulling yourself around and looking, and you're actually able to see that the wagon itself, the goods that they were carried, mostly comprised of things like wood or whatever. It's hard to see what was even inside of the sacks are all rotted out. Ripping open a sack quickly, you look inside and you can see there's a bunch of like wood and stuff like that in there that's rotted out. That doesn't have value, but you do actually see the person that was driving the wagon, even though their body was like ripped apart. You can make your way over, and their waist and legs are still like attached to the seat. It looks like their foot got caught into a broken portion of the wagon, and that's why they were able to get out. And you think you actually see a coin purse has fallen down by like where his foot has rested there, and you're like,
He's fucking rich.
yeah, fucking sweet. I'm gonna go over to that coin purse. Make me a perception check, please, sir.
There's a shark in the lake.
So as you're searching about that, you all of a sudden you feel something like some small movements or whatever happening around like your neck. It's one of those, again, instinctive Witcher moments where you kind of like reach up and you grab your medallion that's like floating in front of you, and you feel the thing vibrating in your hand.
Oh fuck! I let go of my shield. I unattach my shield to try and let it float up to the top.
Absolutely. So you unattach the shield to allow it to rise to the surface. And what else do you do on your little?
Are you in the wagon right now, or are you outside of it?
I think I'm outside of it, right? Not like in the wagon.
Correct. You're just like crawled along. Imagine like a covered wagon. Crawled your way along, and you were about to like reach down and try to grab at the coin purse.
Yeah, I like swing around to see if something is on my neck. Or was that?
That was
just the medallion.
Yep.
Okay.
So you swing around to like look.
Yeah, I swing around to look.
Sure.
Try to examine the area.
Absolutely. You can roll me because you are underwater, so things are a bit murkier and it's harder to see, and so on and so forth.
Right.
You can roll me another
Well, I
perception.
still have the cat thing too, right?
That's true. So I won't impose disadvantage. Roll me another perception.
There he goes. Nice charismatic.